Today we're going to be talking a little bit about Delta Force and our hopes for Battlefield 6. Ultimately, where Delta Force went wrong.
And why it sucks.
And our hope for, not why it sucks, but why we think Battlefield 6 will hopefully, give us some hope. We'll see how that goes. We'll talk about that part later. But we reviewed Delta Force or did early impressions of Delta Force because technically it's still not out yet. It's still in early access or like early release mode. They haven't like fully released it. It's just open beta right now, ultimately. So there's still more to be done to it. But Delta Force is very much a clone of Battlefield, and that is both a good and a bad thing. So I've been playing this game for about 2 months now. I probably got 6-7 hours. I don't know. I would say maybe a little bit less, depending on if you look at like the closed beta and stuff like that, probably a little bit more. But been playing this game a lot. There's multiple aspects to it. You have like the extraction mode that I haven't touched. I'm really here for the Battlefield piece of it. And it feels a lot like Battlefield. I mean, like you look at the UI, it's very Battlefield. Mm-hmm. You open the game, you got operators. I mean, they took 2042 and basically just like copy and pasted the majority of that and then made new operators that did different stuff. And otherwise, it's like it's a Battlefield game, but set during a more current time as opposed to like a little in the future like Battlefield 2042 was. The first thing I want to talk about here where they've gone wrong is I think in the map design. So in Battlefield, historically, all of their maps are very big and open, but they have this sense of direction that guide you into like choke points and areas that contain the battle so that you're not just like a lone wolf run around in a bunch of random places all the time. This one seems like they've not been able to fully achieve that. So they have two different modes. They have your attack and defend, which is basically the equivalent of breakthrough in Battlefield. And they have King of the Hill, which is conquest, where you capture all the different points. And in that, it's so the way the points are laid out in the maps, it doesn't allow much of that forward momentum to where I can get shot from any direction around me and not know where the hell they shot me at until like you get to the kill cam. And usually when you're playing like going to capture a point, you can come in, like everybody's coming in from all different directions, and then you're in like a kind of more confined like battle space to duke it out and fight it out. But in this one, it seems like it's kind of like there's just points scattered around the map, and you just go with no like thought or intentionality about the flow of how people move through the environments. And that kind of bothered me a little bit because there's one map that I was playing where actually there's one map that's actually the opposite problem of this, but it's so insane. Because remember in 2042 there was that one map that came out later on in the lifespan that was very much like a single row map where you were in this like dome space and you go through like a
like quarantine section thing, the fucking labs and stuff.
Yeah. That map was crazy and like but you were just like you walk down the path and you capture points and then they come back and push back and capture points. But you have multiple choke points you could like travel through to get around people and flank and do all that different stuff. This one has a map that's similar to that, but it's very much focused on like one big ass hallway, and it's a big, massive open hallway. Yeah, exactly. So it's like sniper haven basically. So if you're a sniper, you can knock people off and like real quick. But otherwise, if you're just like running around with an assault rifle, you're just a sitting duck, and you're gonna get squashed every single time. And early on in 2042, they had issues with the map design where they basically did what Delta Force has done now, where they were too open and not enough focus. And they redesigned all the maps over the course of like 6 months, which Delta Force could do. But I feel like they should have learned from Battlefield's mistake in this game before they brought this game out to look at the map design and figure out how to like focus that and make it more like give clear sight lines, but also give lots of cover and pathways where you can like get around safely without getting destroyed by the other team. The other thing I have an issue with is the gunplay in this game. As I played more and more and played with more people that know more about what they're doing, I feel like as I upgrade my weapons, they don't seem to do a lot. They don't seem to be any better. Like I unlock progression, stuff like that, and improve them. And it's like some of them, they just have the same level of recoil, and the difference between like a submachine gun and assault rifle seems pretty minuscule, other than just like the fire distance. But like usually there's a bit more of a noticeable like change between gun to gun. And then somehow people are kicking my ass like left and right. And I think it's probably because I'm just not as good at this game right now, which I hate that that's the case, because in Battlefield, like I excel at a Battlefield game. Like I usually can do really, really well in those games. And this one I can't. And I don't know what it is that they've done that's made it harder or more difficult, because it's in it at all intents purposes, it's clone, but something about the gunplay is different that makes it harder to be good at this game.
Just felt like the gunplay was like slow, or kind of just wasn't as responsive.
Yeah, I wrote it feels clunky, and I don't know why it feels clunky, but something about it feels clunky. Yeah, it doesn't look clunky, but it just feels, sometimes it feels kind of clunky. It's like I can usually get 3/4 of a shot off on somebody and get most of their health out, but I haven't been able to like finish them off. In the closed beta, I had no problem with it. So I don't know if something changed with the gunplay, or if it's just now that we're playing more players are just better at the game. It's just there's something there's a piece of this missing, and I can't quite figure out what aspect of it is missing. And maybe it's just that there's so much stuff coming from so many different places that it just gets overwhelming. But again, that goes back to the map design, where it's like I've never had that much of a problem before where I feel like I'm useless.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm so freaking useless, like that, you know? Yeah.
So I feel like in Battlefield, you can lone wolf it a lot, but I mean, it always helps 1,000% more if you had friends and went in with everybody.
Yeah.
And your point on the map, like I felt like in Battlefield maps, like there'd be areas where it's like, okay, we're being heavily suppressed on this side, but now we can go flank around the right or go a different way and create another battlefield or battle line, and then it'd just be this ebb and flow of like back and forth. Obviously sometimes you would just get absolutely stomped. I think people who knew the ebb and flow of the maps could get the one up on a lot of people, especially on randos. I mean, most of it was just randos anyway, but it just felt like more fair, even though we did have a lot of problems with it like early on, and it took forever for it to become into its peak. I just felt like, I mean, sure, the more you play these maps, the better it gets, but there's just so much variation. I always feel like you're locked into an area. For better lack of term. Just like this area I know, and if I go off of it, there's just so much, like we're looking at this one map, so much elevation and stuff.
Well, there's always like,
it becomes a problem.
I feel like in Battlefield maps too, there's always something about that map. It's just like an iconic piece of it.
Yeah.
Whether it be like the big rocket launch in Orbital, or the big stadium that they had, and the big skyscrapers in a couple of those maps from 2042, or the big ass boat. Not many of these maps really have like that key landmark that like gives them an identity. Like this map here, like it's a nice looking map, but it's just like, okay, this looks like somebody AI generated a bunch of trees and hills and then threw a bunch of like little outposts, but none of them have any significance with each other.
Yeah.
And they have another map is this the same map? Yeah, this is the trench map. So it does have trenches at one point in the map. That was kind of cool to have that, but there wasn't any, again, still no like iconic, memorable identity. Like I could not tell you what the map names are, but I can tell you every map name. I got Hourglass, Orbital, like freaking
Redacted.
That was good.
Stranded, Exposure,
Breakthrough. Like I remember those names because I can remember the identity of each one. And these ones, I'm like, I don't.
Out in the woods,
maps, out in the woods, And it's this has like the opposite effect of Marvel Rivals, where like Marvel Rivals is like the Asian version of Overwatch. They did way better.
Yeah. This
is the Asian version of Battlefield. They did way worse in a lot of ways. I don't know. It's just like it's a weird thing because they try to get it there, and it plays. It looks and feels and plays just like Battlefield. It's missing, and I think one of the notes I put here, it's lacking the Battlefield moments is what it is. It's just lacking those iconic moments where you're driving through your Jeep and you jump out and you blow this thing up, and then this other thing comes in and explodes this thing, and it's just like none of that actually exists in this game. And
Right.
I mean, I want those. That's what that game is all about, is those big, epic, intense moments that just happen organically that you don't ever expect coming. And this has not been able to succeed at that. I'm also annoyed. One of the biggest things that I'm really annoyed by is the effing smoke in this game is stupid. Like, in most games, when you have smoke, like, you can kind of still see through it. This one completely obstructs your view. So you can't
smoke
see.
should.
Well, yes, but like,
Well,
look at like, and you can still usually like have some sense of like knowing your direction, but like when you're in like a small confined space, it's basically smoke all the time, and you're useless. You're literally useless. You can't do anything. And in other games with smoke, I know, but there's always a way where you can like have some, like, if you're going through the smoke, you can start to see people on the other side, depending on how thick it is. And this one is just a blind covering of nothing where you can't see anything. And people use it. Maybe it's just that they just use it too much is a problem. But there's so much smoke in here that it's like, I've never had a problem with smoke being a deterrent to this level of frustration where I just want to quit the game because I'm just constantly walking into smoke. Like, even in Counter-Strike where smoke is like, but yeah, I guess I don't think I'm explaining myself.
No, you're fine. I'm just laughing just because, like, I've never heard anyone complain about that.
Yeah.
It's just
because it's never been a problem until Delta Force.
Because it's supposed to be a problem. If someone's using smoke on you, there's like a reasoning behind it. So you're not supposed to see. You know what I'm saying?
I know the point of what smoke does. Yeah, I get that.
But it doesn't sound like you do because you're like, I can't see. Well, no shit, you can't see a smoke.
No, like,
because in Battlefield, there's like a certain distance you can see people.
There's a drop off in the smoke.
Yeah.
Where you are in the smoke,
yeah,
it gets less dissipated, and you can see through that.
You can see through it.
You can see through some of that. Or
so
it
the
doesn't
smoke
last
animation is not that great.
The smoke animation sucks, and it lasts so long that like it's an abuse.
I can't see through the smoke. Why was there so much? Why are y'all using smoke? This makes no sense. Use guns, shoot people.
No, it's an abuse mechanic in the game that most operators, the most important thing they have is the smoke. And if you're in a small corridor, the whole entire thing is literally just smoke the entire time. So you're just blindly firing into smoke for 30 minutes of a game. And it's like no other game ever has that problem where the smoke is that much of an impediment in your gameplay.
Yeah.
You know
so
what I
they
mean?
need to fix the animation of the smoke, make it more like Battlefield. I get what you're saying with Battlefield, but I feel like even in Battlefield, the smoke can be pretty impeding, like it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, and I'm totally fine with that.
Okay.
But this one, it's so overly excessively used in the game where, I mean, literally, there's never. I played around for half an hour. There was never a moment where I was not looking through smoke.
Damn.
So it's like, what am I gonna do in that game? You know what I mean? Like I can't shoot anybody, and I don't have any like heat seeking whatever. So it's just like,
were you playing an all smoke map? Like, is that just what it was?
No, it's just everybody's just throwing smoke in there, and it's just like it was stupid how abused it is. You know,
I hope you have footage of that because I think it needs to be shown. But I have had issues in Battlefield where that has happened only a handful of times. Mm-hmm. And I don't see people in Battlefield using it much. Like I feel like as a medic, I feel like you use it to like get people.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'm gonna throw it over here. I'm gonna run over. I get this guy up.
I use it all the time for a distraction. Like I'll pop smoke with my smoke launcher thing.
Yeah,
and they'll look that way, and I'll run the opposite direction because they think I'm running through the smoke or to retrieve one of you guys if you go down. So
yeah, it makes a lot of. I mean, it works great in every other game I've ever played. Like when they brought it out in Counter-Strike, it was brilliant. It was such a smart idea. But in this game, it's just broken. It's a broken system. It's
can't
weird.
see through it. Well, no shit, Brett. You're not supposed to.
This is insane. I've never heard.
Yeah,
I want to experience this.
Yeah,
but I mean, I can see it's just like I can't play the game because I can't see.
Yeah,
anywhere I go, I can't see anything.
Yeah. Especially in that map that was like the redacted or whatever. It's like, I mean, there's this small corridor space, and it's just smoke.
That's where
for half an hour.
In redacted, that's where I like constantly use my smoke, and I have the shield, so I'll pop a bunch and run through.
Yeah.
So I use smoke for advantage. Then that's what I'm thinking you're saying, but it sounds like what you're saying is like the smoke is way too overpowered.
Yeah.
And the whole animation of it is taking way too long to dissipate.
It takes too long to dissipate. I think there's too much of it that's available to people, or it's just too big of a surface area, and maybe that's what's affecting it. Because like it literally was like, poof, I'm in
gone.
a map. Like, yeah. So like that right there isn't as bad because it's like you can get around it, but if you're in those tight spaces, if it just like
I just think it's a strategy.
It's basically you just gotta like close your eyes and just shoot and just hope you hit somebody. You know, that's what it feels like. You know, but there's a strategy to it, and there's a broken system, and this is a broken system. You know,
I got you.
It's just broken.
I got you.
It's broken. It's like
their downfall is their smoke.
Battlefield, don't you do that, okay?
Don't do it. Yeah,
We'll need see-through smoke.
y'all gotta
Let's
feel
not
the pain
utilize
that I
the
was going through. Okay, I literally almost like alt F4'd that game when this stuff was happening. It was so frustrating. It was so frustrating. But okay, beyond that, the operators. I want to talk about them for a second. The operators are useless. God damn. So
What do they do again? I don't even remember.
they
Specialties?
they all shoot smoke. That's what it is.
No? Okay.
One gets to shoot 2 smoke, the other one gets to shoot 3.
They just go down the line, huh?
Yeah.
Increasing their smoke.
So I mean,
capacity.
it's like you have the main guy that you get who he can like run fast for a period of time and like be super quick, and then he shoots smoke. I think he has like a rocket shot thing that shoots like 3 rockets that like attach to a vehicle and can like explode it. That's kind of cool. But the thing is, like mechanically, they don't feel like they're a significant add to the game. And Battlefield 2042, as much as people hated them, I felt like there was good utility with each one. It's like you have, and the other thing too that I hate is that you have 3 or 4 operators unlocked, and then some of them you have to unlock through playing the game with a certain character to progress through and unlock the new one.
Yeah, I remember that.
And or buy them. So there's also purchase operators in here too. That part sucks because, like, for example, the engineer based operator has this like shock thing that he can do that I just don't love and have never found a good utility of it. And unless you're in a small confined space, it works fine. But in these big conquest maps, it's kind of worthless to have him as a character. And then you don't unlock the shield guy without paying for him, I believe, which is kind of stupid. But like in Battlefield 2042, you had the you could lay out the turret, you know, or you had the body shield, or you had the girl with the healing gun, which they have a healing gun in this, which works pretty well. You had the people that had your ammo bags and this, that, whatever, and they also have the spawn beacon. Some of that stuff is here, but I don't like. I also can't tell you like very clearly like what character each person is because they're just not stand out in any way, except for the one girl who is a recon that can shoot tracking darts. That's kind of cool, but beyond that, none of the characters really stand out to the point where they provide any strong value to the gameplay. And I think it'd be better if they just weren't in the game at all. So
Pulled the Battlefield and they failed.
yeah,
Battle fail.
Battlefield.
battle failed.
Battlefield 2025.
Yeah. So all that to be said, Delta Force, it's a good game. I think there's some interesting fun to be had here in some cases, but I was hoping it would hold me over.
I don't know. He really
Well,
wants
because I want to see, I want to play with friends and see if it's any different.
I'd rather play Battlefield.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Honestly, it makes me just want to play Battlefield.
Yeah, it makes me want to just play Battlefield.
Well, I mean, my hope was just to play with you guys a little bit to see if it was different, because I don't like playing Battlefield by myself either.
You know what I'll do if I do play one?
yeah.
I'll just pop smoke around them the whole time.
You should.
Hey, you should play with him.
not even play the game. Just chase him down, put smoke around. Where's all the fucking smoke coming from?
You definitely got to play with him now.
So, Battlefield has just come out.
We're talking about Delta Force.
No, this is also about Battlefield. That's what the whole video is about.
Okay.
Yeah. The video is called Why Delta Force
So much
Didn't
smoke.
Work and how Battlefield can bring it back. So Battlefield,
bring
the
back.
process of like Delta Force coming out, has just launched their new Battlefield Labs initiative. So what they're going to do, and we'll see if this works, because they've talked a lot of talk in the years past, and they haven't done a good job at like delivering in some cases with these situations. But the game is supposed to not come out now until 2026 is the rumor, but they're going to open up to a much larger. They've had 1.3 million people sign up for Battlefield Labs, and it's basically an early access initiative for people to get early access to play the playtest throughout the course of the next year.
Smart.
To make the game better, which Battlefield 2042, where they screwed
We
up.
don't pay for it?
Huh?
We don't pay for it.
No, it's all free.
That's nice.
Yeah. And it's previously they did a open beta and a closed beta that was one map. So you got to play one map and then very isolated with 2042. So it just didn't work as well. And it was also 3 months before the game came out.
Yeah.
So like there wasn't a lot of time. So this one is new initiative is going to be Battlefield Labs. They also created Battlefield Studios, which is now 4 studios combined into one company
Wow.
to continue to build out this big, huge focus point of what Battlefield is. And but I'm excited for Battlefield Labs because what they're claiming is that you're going to get early access to play the game for free and be able to play not just a map, but like 4 or 5 maps and try like this game mode for like a limited time and then do this for a little bit and like help give feedback as they develop and build the game out. And then when the game actually does launch, hopefully, it's what we want. And there's no operators in this game. They're going back to just classes, 64 players, modern day combat, fully destructible environments, like all of the things that we're hoping and wanting will be here. Single player story is back.
What?
So they're gonna have a single player story. That's gonna be done by they're going back to like the Bad Company days a little bit with the story.
All right.
They're also going to do another experience that I think is going to be another Battle Royale attempt. So they're going to have Battle Royale, Conquest by DICE, and then a story-focused campaign, all part of one ecosystem. And it sounds exciting. So I think they're saying the right things, and I hope they actually deliver on those things. They even have later
Pay
on...
$100 for it?
Actually, yes. If it does what I want it to do, I would totally do that. They have a little teaser. Is it in this video? No, it's not, but it's over in this video. So we have a little teaser of some gameplay that you'll hopefully be able to watch in this video. But what they're doing is this is not gameplay. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
But there's some moments where they're showcasing like a little bit of the game. It looks like Battlefield 3 and 4, which is hopeful and exciting. And lots of crazy destruction and chaos and stuff happening. I'm like super hyped about it.
Yeah, I heard people complaining like, "Oh, you're just being a free play tester for them." I was like, "Wait, we complain that these games come out,
Yeah, of course I'll be
that suck."
I'll be a
and
free
it's like,
play
okay,
test, I
so
don't
now
mind.
they get us directly and can listen to feedback. Like,
Yeah.
What do you
What
want?
do you want?
Like this is
I mean,
perfect.
that's what Baldur's Gate
And
did,
it's
and
free.
that's why it did so good,
And it's free.
Where the hell did they put that video? Oh, here it is.
It's right at the end.
It's like 10 seconds, so it's not very long, but it's definitely, I mean, it looks...
Man, look at that.
It feels like a Battlefield situation, These tight corridors and like explosions and chaos all around you. Like I don't get
Whole
that.
fucking building went up.
I don't get that in
Whole
freaking
fucking
Delta Force,
building
man.
went up. Jesus.
No, Delta Force just literally copied Battlefield 2042,
Yeah.
and in the worst ways possible. Well, I mean, obviously, sure, over time it's gonna get better and feel better, but it's just a shitty clone, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just hope Andrew Wilson doesn't fuck it up and do something stupid with it. But
Well, apparently everything Vince gets his hands on turns out pretty good.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I think they trust him enough. I mean, it's going to be another games as a service anyway, with everything we've seen before. Like, hopefully, it just has better gameplay
Yeah.
yeah.
and a
I
good
hope so.
story. I want to see a story. Like, I mean, what could they tell? Where are we going back to?
I mean, I think just modern day. I don't know. I mean, I love. I mean, Battlefield 3 and 4. They had really fun stories that were just like just a good camaraderie, focus, like intense war zone moment kind of situation where it's like it was all about the brotherhood of like your team and your crew, as you're in areas and moments that you thought this is your last day, and it's like that rallying around your people. This is your tribe, and that was really, they did a good job with that. It wasn't like mind-blowingly crazy or anything like that, but it was very, very good. So there's hope on the horizon. Basically, it's Delta Force, I was hoping would be that thing that would hold me over for a little bit.
Me too.
But it's not probably going to do that. But I'm excited to see more and hopefully get our hands on Battlefield this year at some point as they do some of these early tests. And it's a good, fun initiative, and I hope it works for them, and I hope they do what they're supposed to do to make us happy.
So let's see. There's a lot of people still playing Delta Force right now.
No, I can imagine.
It's still got a huge. I mean,
Over
people are digging it.
73,000, and all-time peak was 131. So
There's 73,000 playing right now.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's a lot.
They fixed that smoke issue.
I'm telling you.
That's right.
10,000 right there.
And the 24-hour peak was over 111,000.
Yeah.
That's damn good.
That's a huge number.
Well, good for them. Not our game.
Yeah. So there you have, folks. Let us know what you think of Delta Force. Do you feel like it's a good alternative to Battlefield? Do you think it does things better, does things worse? Do you agree with my statements? Let us know in the comments below.
How is the smoke for real?
Yes. How is that smoke?
Brett, up in smoke.
That's right.